Hey, what's up you guys, it's Skylar. So in this video, I want to make this video some sort of a chatty video. I will touch on 3 topics that I really want to talk about in this video. 3 topics, 4 topics, 5 topics, some topics that I want to talk to you guys in this video because I know I've been uploading a lot lately. Most of the videos that I uploaded are vlogs and vlogs without me talking, so I kind of like miss talking to the camera because right now I'm still not at the stage of like vlogging comfortably with like a bunch of people. Like my friends know I vlog, my friends know I have a YouTube channel for some reason. Like 1 week into knowing them, they discovered that I have a YouTube channel, so never underestimate the stalking powers of human beings. Anyways, first I want to talk about being introverted. Kind of. So this thing happened last Saturday. Like I remember talking about me being an introvert a few years ago, like 2 years ago. Wow, I've been on YouTube for a long time. I was like at a very bad place, so I was like pretty introverted, pretty like closed off. But I feel like now I'm kind of like in the middle. Like there's this spectrum, you know, introvert and extrovert. I'm kind of like in the middle. I think that's called an ambivert. I don't know, when I am with my close friends, I could like annoy them and tease them, make their life hard. But when I'm with strangers, I get very quiet. I don't like talking, especially when I don't have anything to talk about with the strangers. So this is what happened last Saturday. My friend invited me with her to a dinner with a bunch of Chinese people because she was like walking on the street and then this Chinese girl just came up to her and be like, hey, I haven't seen your face before. And they talked, and then this Chinese girl basically just invited her over to have hot pot with her other friends, and my friend didn't want to go alone. Her other friend is like in Munich in Oktoberfest, so she didn't have any options, so she came to me and then she asked me if I could go with her, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't want her to go alone, I gotta look out for her. So I went with her, and this is what happened. I went to my friend's house first. This Chinese girl picked us up and then drove us back to her friend's place, and then basically it's like in a closed space with 6 to 7 strangers that I don't know. But the thing is, all they talk about is like Chinese reality shows or like Chinese music. I haven't really been following like Chinese drama, Chinese reality shows, or like Taiwanese shows, dramas, songs after like 17. Like after that I got pushed into the English pool and I've never really looked back. So right now I'm just on Netflix wasting my life. My life has mainly been in English, like other than school, other than hanging out with my friends in Taiwan, most of my life has basically been in English, and my humor, my sarcasm, my ways of annoying people are mainly in English, so I can't really find a way to communicate with them. I mean, there are funny people, there are friendly people, but it's just, you know how when you're not on the same wavelength, it's just hard to communicate with people. So it kind of like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was holding my breath. After the night, I felt so exhausted, and I've only spent like 3 hours with them. Later that night we had this candy party thing where I was just standing there with my friend. She was talking to her Turkish guy friends, and I was just standing there because I didn't know them that well and I didn't know what to talk to them about. And I'm just weird like this. I am quiet in the presence of strangers. When my German friends showed up, I was like, oh my god, you guys are here. I just felt like I was finally breathing. When I saw them, I was like, phew. You guys are here, I'm so happy. And then I started babbling and talking. I don't know why I'm like this, but it took me like 2 to 3 days to recharge, and like the second day I even felt like I was a bit sick. And I was talking to one of my friends about this in Taiwan, and she actually went all Dr. Phil on me, and then she said this, and I think it makes a lot of sense. She said to me, it might be a psychological thing, but I am no psychiatrist. So I asked her what's the diagnosis, and she said, easy. One of your friends away and your other friends are there with you, and you're overwhelmed by a bunch of unfamiliar faces that you kind of feel obligated to at least interact with. And I think that kind of makes sense. Yeah, that's just what happened. It took me 3 days to recharge. Now I'm feeling better. It scared me how emotionally drained I got after a few hours of hanging out with like so many strangers. Like they are very nice people, but I just wasn't ready to like socialize with this many strangers. I wasn't mentally prepared. The next thing I want to talk about is my self-identification crisis sort of story. So for those who know me, so for those who have been following me for a while, you would know that I grew up in Taiwan, but I was born in New Zealand, in Auckland, and I basically stayed in New Zealand for like 3 years, and then my family moved back to Taiwan, and then I grew up in Taiwan, so that's just how I am. And my grandfather is from China. He fled to Taiwan because of the Cultural Revolution thing that happened back in, I think, 1976 to 1986, time around. It lasted for 10 years. It's basically like a revolution that was against like the people in the higher parts of the triangle. My grandfather was a principal of the high school back then. That obviously made him a target, so that's why he fled to Taiwan, and then he met my grandmother, and then they had children, and my dad, and then me. Basically back in Taiwan, like there's always this debate that has been going on saying that, oh, does Taiwan belong to China, or is Taiwan like an independent country? This has always been a debate. I never really cared. Like back in Taiwan, we had this international student gathering party, and I was like one of the volunteers, and basically when I was like talking to international students, they were like, yo, are you from China? And then they saw like my tag, there's like Taiwanese flag next to it. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. Sorry, you're Taiwanese. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't really mind. But even back in Taiwan, I feel so out of place sometimes because I watch so many YouTube videos that like English YouTubers. I watch so many TV shows, like American TV shows basically. My humor, my sarcasm, and my ways of knowing people, they're mostly like, I'm more fluent, more comfortable in doing that in English. So sometimes when I'm talking to my friends, they wouldn't understand my humor, they wouldn't understand my sarcasm, and it makes it really hard for me to communicate with certain types of people in my life. Sometimes I just feel like I don't belong in Taiwan. Yeah, so here in Spain, I remember in Spanish class, my teacher was like, yo, Skylar, so she said something like blah 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 blah, China? I'm like, no, Taiwanesa. I was so quick to hop into the defense of saying that I'm Taiwanese instead of Chinese. It kind of weirded me out because I was never like that in Taiwan. But like when Taiwan messed things up, I would be like, oh, I'm not Taiwanese, I'm like a Kiwi. Taiwan is sometimes so behind in the certain things that I'm an advocate of. And when I look at New Zealand, they are like, at least in the aspect that I've been following, they are very forward, they are very woke, and they are doing the right things and at the perfect pace. And I just really adore New Zealand for doing that. So sometimes I really identify myself as a Kiwi. But the sad thing is I have an American accent, so when I say that I'm a Kiwi, it's just, it sounds weird. Like, listen to my accent, it sounds American. Why would I say that I'm a Kiwi? So it's kind of like a weird self-identification crisis that has always been going on in my head, and it's hard to find a place that you belong when you are like in such an awkward position in life, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's just another thing that's been going on in my head. Let's talk about this last topic I want to talk about. It's on the pretty sentimental side, and I don't really want to hop too deep because this video will then turn out to be 1 hour long, and I don't want that to happen because I am like, okay, I'm already thinking about filming like a throwback video when I get back to Taiwan, like my 6 months in Oviedo. I already have like a plan. I already know what music to use. I already know what footages I want to use. I already know like what footages I want to make my friends take and send it to me. Like I already have everything planned in my mind, and I'm just, let's not talk about that. It's still like October. I still have a few months here. Let's not hop into the sad stuff. So before I came here, I talked to this guy who was here last year. I was worried. Okay, I'm a worrier. And I asked him if it's hard to make friends here. Is it going to be like boring when you're not in school? Is it going to be lonely? Is it going to be just... Because for some reason, I know this is not what I should have in mind, but for some reason when I'm in Europe, I would still feel insecure because of my skin color. Because when people see me, they'll automatically assume that I only speak Chinese. I will still feel insecure on that aspect, and I know I shouldn't, but it happens. And before I came here, because I've never been to like Spain, the only place in Europe I've been to is London, so I'm not sure like what's going to happen. So there are like so many anxiety and like uncertainty going on in my mind. So I asked him, and then he told me like, don't expect too much. Don't expect that you will make friends, and because it's going to be hard. Don't expect you're going to make close friends here. Don't expect that you will find people that you bond with. People that comes every year are different, and I understand what he's trying to say. But what he said just kind of like toned up my anxiety, makes me more afraid of being in this country. And the first 2 weeks that I got here didn't make things easier. I didn't know the language, I didn't know the place, I was alone. So I tried to forget about all the stressful moments by journaling, by talking to the camera, Like, I mean, this is why I started my channel in the first place. I didn't have any friends back then, so I could only talk to my camera. How sad. But yeah, moving on. He even told me that even if you're going to make friends here, they're bound to be Asians because, yo, Asians stick together. That's what Asians do. If I want to hang out with Asians, why don't I just exchange to Japan, Korea, or like China? There's so many Asians there. It's like the Asian community. Why would I do that? If I am in Europe, I should hang out with more people that are not like from Asia, a place that I understand so much about. They should be from like countries that I am not that familiar with, so I could like learn about their culture, learn about different things. And then my roommates are just talking, so in the background, so just probably in Italian or Spanish, I don't know. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to make any friends. When the pre-welcome week party thing was announced on Facebook, I was like hesitant because yo, they're meeting up at 11:30 p.m. Like that's about the time that I got like showered and cleaned myself up, brushed my teeth, about to go to bed. And then my buddy was like, yo, you should go. Like I really want you to come. And I'm like, maybe I should. For some reason, I knew that, okay, if I don't make the best use out of this welcome week, or even like the pre-welcome week party, it's like the most essential part of Erasmus. If you want to make friends, you gotta do it now, fast and precise, and just do it as soon as possible. And if you're lucky, you'll find the right group of people. So I was like, okay, maybe I should go. So I wasn't expecting much, plus it was late, I was exhausted. And I mean, I don't really party that much in Taiwan. I'm like a nerd. I would stay home, like watching videos, editing videos. I would stay home and sleep and eat. Yeah, the perfect way of living. And when I got there, my buddy started introducing me to like different people, and then yeah, I talked to people, and I wasn't expecting much as well. But then things happened. I actually made, oh god, this is getting too like too heartfelt. Okay, this is okay, I'm just gonna keep talking. I wasn't expecting anything out of that party. Then the next day, I just woke up at 9 or 10. I was bored and I was like, hey, the girl I talked to yesterday, she seemed nice. We talked about Harry Potter. She's like a Ravenclaw or like a Gryffindor, and I'm like a Hufflepuff. Hey, we bonded through Harry Potter. So I'm like, yeah, she's nice. And like her name is the only name I remembered from last night because there were so many names. It's just hard. I just found her on Facebook. I was like, yeah, adding a person on Facebook is the beginning of a friendship because yeah. So I did that, and then she messaged me saying that she and her friends and her roommates, they want to go to Han in the afternoon and then to the Oktoberfest in Han. And then she invited me. Like at the moment I was like, oh, I'm tired from last night. I went home at 3. Should I go? And I'm like, yeah, maybe I should. If I say no, I'll probably be missing out. So I said yes. And then that makes it easier because I got the chance to like remember their faces, remember their names. So then as a result, the welcome week that followed after that Saturday, I had people that I knew, just had someone to talk to at the event and got to know them better. And luckily, I think the group of friends that I found were pretty alike. We share the same humor, so I guess I could say that I'm very lucky. And the weirdest thing is that I wasn't expecting any of this to happen. I wasn't expecting me like making friends this quickly and like being comfortable with a group of people this quickly. Like I could say now that if anyone is going to exchange to a different country, don't expect that you're going to make tons of friends because that's probably not going to happen. There are so many people. But don't expect that you're not going to make any friends either, because you are going to. And if you're lucky enough, you'll find the right people, and then it'll make like your experience so much more unforgettable and so much more beautiful than you originally expected. I just feel like I'm lucky. I've been feeling a lot of emotions lately. I don't know, it's maybe because of the seasons changing. It's fall, so I don't know. This doesn't make sense. But yeah, this is just what I wanted to talk about in this video. It's kind of like scattered thoughts. Yeah, but I just really wanted to upload a chatty video to my channel because there has been too many vlogs. Every time I open my Premiere Pro project, it'd be like, okay, editing a vlog is a lot of work. I gotta like drag in the clips, like find the right music, match the clips to the music, and then add the captions, and then make the project as a whole like smooth and worthwhile watching and beautiful, and find the right transitions and everything. So it's a lot of work, but chatting videos, I think it's simpler because the content isn't about the pictures. The content is about what I'm saying, and hopefully it will mean something to someone watching. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have been enjoying the vlogs that I have been posting. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in another video. Until next time, bye.